Good evening, ma'am.
Hi, Indu.
How are you, ma'am?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm good. Ma'am,
Okay.
I have a request related to
Pooja.
this two-dimensional teaching.
Repeat that. Okay, sure.
Yeah. I just need because I just wanted to understand the concept because I am related to IT, right? I'm teaching IT from long time. So now the concept of this is like how a technical person can we can evaluate ourselves in 2D model, right? So that is
Absolutely. Okay, Indu and everyone else who's listening. First of all, I want to just, I think I mentioned it, but probably didn't reach home, is that everything, anything at all that we teach here in this program, any module, any strategy, any solution that we suggest here is valid for all disciplines. Why? Because it addresses the basic learning principles. So it doesn't matter whether you are learning to drive a car or you're doing a very complex experiment in biotechnology or computer science. It doesn't matter. The only thing that which is discipline based is the way you design your assignment, the way you design your activity. So you will design your activity slightly differently, but the fundamental principles don't change. So it's very valid for any discipline, leave alone computer science. I'll explain all that. Yeah, sure. We are okay. So guys, it's time. We are going to start as always on time and welcome everyone. This session is going to be slightly different because you can always raise your hand and I've asked the question that you want. So basically, what do we do in the office hour? We just take all the questions. Something just like Indu mentioned, she has a question about it. She wouldn't want this to us to repeat. The Sirisha, go ahead, Sirisha. What is the question?
Ma'am, good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, can you just give it some case study, like exactly how to do the assignment? It's not clear for
Margarita,
me.
no. Sirisha, I'll tell you
No?
why. And that's no. And I want you to follow that for your students as well. Never give any examples for how things have to be done. You know, the best, there is a beautiful saying which says, the most effective teacher teaches you how to see or where to see, but doesn't tell you what to see. Do you understand, Sirisha? Because if I give you a sample, uh, you very much feel that this is the best sample, right? Whereas I want you to create your own sample. Let it be. Make mistakes, whatever it is. We are here to guide you. Instructions are very detailed. If you have any question about the instructions, you can always ask now. You can always ask in the question. By the way, guys, another thing, I'm going to put it on the announcement also. I see a lot of questions, general questions. How do I do this? How do I do that? How can we do this? How no, that question thread is specifically for questions related to the module. If you had asked me the same question in that thread, I would have responded to it in writing. But because many other people will benefit from it. But all the questions you're saying, how can I get student become interactive, this, that, and another, all that will be covered across the different modules that we'll be studying. So that thread is not for general questions. That thread is only for questions you have related to the module. Okay. So I will definitely. So Sirisha, as a principal, I do not give any samples. We don't give, and I've made that a policy in IUC also. We don't give for any courses. We don't give any samples. You create. We'll tell you how it is to be done. If you have any questions about it, you can ask me in the thread. Okay. So we have Sri
Ma'am,
Ramamurthy.
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
once, ma'am,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
thing is like in the from the brain-based learning, you have asked us to find out the two findings, right?
I'm coming to that. Don't worry. I will. One of the main objective is we'll go over the discussion, what is expected, how you do it, and all that. So
Okay, fine.
I'm coming to that. Okay. So
Thank
Sri Ramamurthy, do you have any specific question? But I will be talking about the. Yeah. Tell me what your question is.
Yeah, madam, I have seen the assignment statements.
Huh.
Based on the statements that you are asked to write, what is the takeaway from this, right?
Huh.
So, as per my understanding, I came to understand these two things here about intellectual excitement and interpersonal rapport, and about the matrix. Based on that, we have written the answers. Is it okay to go ahead like that?
What have you? Okay. Let me go over the assignment and then come back to your question. Is that okay,
Okay, madam.
Ramamurthy? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
madam. This
Thank
is
you. Thank
Sriram,
you for
madam.
asking the question. So let's start looking at the discussion as to what we have to do in the discussion. Oh, sorry. Okay. So for this, for this week, we have two things to do, right? For this week, we have two things to do. First thing is the discussion. Okay, read the mini lecture on. Let me just give me 1 second. Let me see if any of the faculty is here. Roland is here. Okay. Okay. Let me get rid of this. Okay. Let's get rid of this. Okay. So, okay. So let's look at the discussion first. Let me look at the discussion first. Okay. It says, read the mini lecture on brain-based learning. You found the brain-based learning right up in the classroom. Everybody found that. So you have to
Yes,
read
ma'am.
the key findings listed. Just kind of a small summary that what does this article or this write-up tell you? What are the main things that you have learned from this write-up? Okay, not two things. Study the key findings, and now identify two findings that can help you to fine-tune your own teaching. Yeah, you can take two. So Ramamurthy, your question about intellectual excitement and interpersonal communication is not a part of brain-based learning. From that article, you have to pick two things that you think, wow, I'm going to use this in my class. This principle. The findings of the brain-based learning are principles on which your brain processes information, or students' brains process information. So remember, we are teaching. Why are we teaching? We are teaching because we want students to learn. So if that is the big mistake we do as faculty. We are very concerned about what I'm teaching, but we don't link it to the learning part of it.
Okay,
We
madam.
just teach in isolation. So this is the main thing that is the foundation module. That is driving this home, that you're not standing on the podium doing blah, blah, blah for 60 minutes for your own benefit. You're doing it for the benefit of the 60 people sitting in front of you.
Okay.
But what have you done to design your blah, blah, that it converts into learning for the at least most of the students? not all, if not all, because there are many other reasons. We'll talk about that in the next lecture. There are many reasons why everybody cannot learn or does not learn. So that's a separate question. So 2 findings that you think you can convert into strategies. After posting, so this your initial response must be on Monday, 17 midnight. And there is 1 mark for it, for posting your initial response in time. Why? Because then people will read your response and hopefully respond to it or get excited about it. And so make the response very, very pointed and to the point. After posting your response, comment on the responses of at least one of your peers. Okay. And then this response that you, again, you have marks for it, for this response. The response should not be just, oh, I agree with you, sir. This is wonderful. This is very good. No, critique it. If you agree with it, give a reason. If you don't agree with it, give a reason. Okay. Your discussion finishes on Wednesday, July 19th, midnight. Please remember, discussions cannot be made up. There is no late fee. There is no late deduction. There's nothing. The discussion just stops. You cannot participate in the discussion after 19th July midnight. It's 10 marks. If you don't participate, you will lose marks. If you have only put one part of it and not the other part, that also you'll get graded accordingly. Okay. The other thing I want to see, just a minute, yeah, I'll take all the questions related to this first. And should we first go over the assignment and then take both the question? But let me take the discussion question first. Now, the other thing I wanted to say is, so discussions can never be made up because they have only relevance for this week. Next week, you have another discussion. If you are posting a response in the previous discussion, nobody's going to look at it. Even your faculty is not going to look at it. So before I go any further and ask your questions, I want to welcome Roland. Roland, welcome. Thank you for joining in.
Hello, ma'am.
Roland, you're breaking up.
Pleasure to be here, ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. Because it's raining here.
Okay. So don't worry. But later on, I want you to please share later on, not right now, your observation as an evaluator. What are the main type of mistakes people do so that this group does not make the same kind of mistake?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
now let me take the questions related exclusively to discussions. Do we have any questions related to discussion? No. Sorry. Any questions? Let me ask. Ashwini.
One question was floated. What will be the time? This word limit? Is there any word limit or length limit?
I think the word limit may have. If there is a word limit, it is mentioned there. Okay, I have an input about the word limit. If there are no questions, then I want to talk about something which is related to your personal growth as well. Remember, we said that we are working on 2 parallel objectives. Your professional growth, that means to improve, how do I improve my teaching? My personal growth, how do I improve myself as a professional? Okay, I'm sure you're a wonderful human being, and that is your own attributes, your own values. That's not what we are talking about. We're talking about 2 things. You cannot be a good professional unless your own ethics, your own organization, your own principles are very clear as a professional. The other objective is how to make you a good teacher. Or maybe you're already a good teacher, but how to make it better. Okay. So here in the discussion, and Roland will agree with me, we are looking for very concise responses. What do I mean by concise? Even in the queue, it says you will please make your response concrete and concise. What does that mean? That means that please be very sharp, to the point, and very precise. So if I want to write about brain-based learning, I can write a whole essay on it. That is not the point. You are asked a very specific question, respond to a very specific answer. And that is this is a kind of a habit of mind, to be concise or not to be concise. I have taught my main subject, my main area of expertise is communication. Okay, not the digital communication or electrical communication, but human communication. And one of the things that I find is that we have in India generally, and we have a habit of rambling a little bit. So if I ask a specific question, why are you late? There'll be a whole story about this happened, that happened, and then, or even if a simple thing, why was your assignment submitted late? There can be a very one-line question, one-line answer, two-line answer, or there could be a one-page answer on that. So we are looking for the two-line answer. And the two-line answer must be based on your personal opinion and your personal experience, not general stories. Teachers should do this, people should do that, students should do that, he would do that, I'm going to do that. Those are all stories. Just say, what are the two things that you have learned? Which of the strategies that are discussed in brain-based learning you can convert into a strategy for teaching in class? Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, Vandana, go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am, I have one doubt. In the discussion, it is written that you will need to copy paste the link for the video.
Yeah.
So what is that? Because we just have to write down the response, right, in words.
No, look at the video.
Look at the video, and you will need to copy paste the link. Means
No, you don't. No, that is nothing. Nothing is required in that. So in that video, they talk about some strategies.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
So that is for your education.
Okay, Bill. Fine.
That is not a part of the assignment. Is very simple. 2 strategies that I will use in my class. I can give you 10, but I don't want to give you. I want you to think and read this and find out whatever you need to do. Okay. Are we all right? Okay, I'm talking still about the conciseness. I have not finished. I want to give you an example. For example, I need to get a loan of 50,000 rupees from my college because my brother is getting married and I need the money. Okay. So in the application, normally I should say, dear sir, I'm writing this application to request for a loan of rupees 50,000 that I need for my personal use. Full stop. Few lines, right? No, but the normal application that we come across will be, dear sir, I am the oldest member of my oldest child in my family, and I'm the only one working. My brother is getting married, so I need 50,000 rupees. In the end, I say, I request you to please grant me the loan. That is a bad policy. That's not concrete. I'm giving you an example. In communication, we follow what is called a pyramid technique. Do you remember the pyramid? We looked at the pyramid from Maslow's pyramid. Pyramid is a triangle, right? And the communication experts tell you that the main message must come on top of the pyramid, and all the other reasoning, justification should come after that. But what we see is an inverted pyramid. We start with the reasoning, we start with the story, and then we come to the conclusion saying, can you please do that to me? Remember, people don't have the time. Okay, so when the bank manager is looking, or your HR person or whoever is giving you the grant, your accounts person is looking at your application, he has to go through a whole page to find out what the answer is. Does that make the word conciseness clear? We want the responses to be crisp, sharp, and to the point. And they should relate to your personal opinion and personal experience, not what you read in ChatGPT or what you read, what your friends are telling you or what so-and-so is telling you. Okay, what you can use for your course. Okay, Roland, you want to add something?
Yes, ma'am. Here, first of all, am I audible, ma'am? Is it
Yes,
breaking?
yes, that's very much better. Yes.
Yeah. What I have seen from my experience in past few uh, times when I have evaluated is people don't understand the question. First of all, this is the first thing. They answer something other than what is asked. Now, if the
Hmm.
two strategies are asked, just answer something, write something and leave. It will not be to the point. What is
Hmm.
asked? For example, here it is asked through go through a brain based learning. That is what is the mini lecture given in the module. Instead of that, they go through Google or Chat GPT or somewhere, find something, copy paste it.
Yeah.
This is the first my experience. One. Second thing is our expectations. What we expect from the discussion is already mentioned. As ma'am mentioned, it should be concise. All those things, whatever it is there, what are the points we are looking? It's already given in the assignment. That is a discussion thing. At the last, there are 4 5 points given. That is what we are looking into, and on based on that, we all the evaluators for different sections we evaluate, so that we are evaluating on a common platform. On that same platform, we will be evaluating. If the answers meet these criteria, whatever is mentioned, we evaluate. They get this points for that. If not, no. And
Sorry,
third
go ahead.
thing is, as ma'am said, nobody critiques it. If you are criticize, it is not critiquing is different and criticism is different.
Hmm.
This is where people go wrong. Instead of critiquing, they say, good, good, this is good, that is good. They just what they call appreciating. They don't critique, or else they'll criticize. It's like, no, why you're doing that? It's like, so there is a
Hmm.
difference between critiquing, criticizing, and appreciation. So these are the things people
Hmm.
forget in their assignment or discussion.
Wonderful, Roland.
Yeah, that's
Thank
it.
you very much. So participants, you heard this from the evaluators, from the real horse's mouth. And that is what, so Roland has been with this module for a very long time, and he's done many, many sessions for us. Thank you, Roland, for that, for taking the time. And I really appreciate your being here today as well. Because somebody or the other is always there. So what Roland is saying is valid for all groups. Don't think it's only valid for Professor Rodriguez's class group. No, it is for all. He's saying whatever he's saying. That is why there is a grading scheme that is followed. 1 mark if you submit your the comment, your response in the before 17th of May, 17th of July, and then if your full response and your comment comes on before 19th. So the comment, again, he beautifully explained, Roland, the difference between critiquing something and criticizing something. When you critique, you say what is good and what's not, what you agree with and what you don't agree with, and I can do it very politely. Criticizing would be like, you don't know what you're talking about. If I make a comment like, oh, I'm sorry, sir, you don't know what you're talking about, that is criticizing. But if you say, oh, I never thought about this, my experience is very different, this is what, that is critiquing. Adding to, then there are other people who say, oh, my experience is even more different from both of you. So that is what we are looking for. Okay. Now, if there are no more questions about discussion, and I think we made a point about being very concise. If there is a word limit, you have to follow the word limit. So for discussions, you will always have what is called a grading scheme, not a rubric. For an assignment, you will have a rubric. When we get to the last module, but that will be too late. But let me explain a little bit. Difference between grading scheme and rubric. Grading scheme is used for responses which are subjective. The word subjective means I say something, Roland says something, Sridhar says something, Indu says something, Ramamurthy says something, because that our experiences are different. And I have the liberty to agree with what I want, what I don't want to say, what my experience is or what my opinion is. I'm a human. It's my opinion. That's all. I don't say you are wrong, but I think differently. In those cases, you cannot have a strict rubric, which we call analytical rubric. You will learn all about these things in every respective module. But for the assignment, so we'll go on that. In this assignment, you have, I think I should have pulled up the actual discussion one from the assignment folder. But for the, let's go to the now to the assignment, and I'm going to go over all the components here. It's 15 marks. Use Joseph Lohmann's tool to evaluate your current level of teaching effectiveness. Follow the detailed instruction provided. They are already given there because you do not have, and rubric is for evaluation is provided. I think what I'm going to do is that I'm going to, but I need this also. Okay, let me just go on to this slide. So in the, let me see. So we talked about Joseph Lohmann's 2D model. The 2D means 2 dimensions.
Slide
And there
is
are
not
2
visible,
dimensions.
madam.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. You have a question?
Slide is not visible.
Slide is not visible? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's visible. It's visible, ma'am. I
We
think
can see it.
It is
See it.
visible.
Slide
it's
is visible.
Oh,
It is
okay.
visible.
Okay,
visible.
okay. Now, is it visible? Is
Yes,
it visible?
ma'am.
Yes, it is
Yes,
visible.
madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
No,
okay.
madam.
Is it visible to the person who said it's not visible?
No, madam.
It's not visible,
Yes, madam.
but
I
you
can
need to
see
do
it.
something about your end. So I think the problem is at your end. You want to log out and log in again?
I'll do that.
So, but I will not do main things. I'll just go on because just take a few minutes to do that. Okay, so we know the 2 dimensions. 2 dimensions are intellectual excitement, means how do I link my students to what I'm teaching? They are excited about learning. How do I generate that excitement? Because remember, once they are excited about learning, they will learn. The students actually, we spend so much time on discussing the details, nitty-gritty, and students can pick up that detail on their own because materials are available all the time. Your job is actually to motivate them, to look for that, guide how to learn that, how to establish the fact that this is important for you. You will need it for your workplace, etc. Whatever way you want to use it. And interpersonal rapport is how students view their relationship with you. Are they scared of you, or are they feel close, they feel very free, and they can say, okay, I can ask anything, and ma'am or sir will not be upset, and they have the time. You make the time for them to ask questions. You're inviting, you are a warm person, you're inviting, we will do next week another evaluation for yourself. For yourself. Now here, Joseph Lohmann says is created this matrix to evaluate where you are at this point in teaching. So let me go over this and if you're, so you can see high, moderate, low for on both dimensions. If you are, so he uses the word exemplar. Exemplar means the top. He's my role model. Okay, so complete exemplar is the topmost, inadequate is the least. So let me tell you, none of us really can be complete exemplar at this stage. We can be very high, but it's very hard, because if you're a complete exemplar, you're also saying I have nothing to learn. I'm already the best. If you're already the best, then you don't need to be here, right? There are certain things that I'm sure most of you are hearing about Joseph Lohmann's 2D model for the first time. It's been there for at least so many decades. So if you are low in both dimensions, you're inadequate. If you're low in intellectual excitement, but acceptable, moderate in interpersonal rapport, you're marginal. Matlab chalega, bilkul, it's just at the edge. If you are moderate in intellectual excitement, but low in interpersonal, you're adequate. Okay, marginal is lower than adequate. If you are high in interpersonal rapport, but low in intellectual excitement, you're Socratic. And I explain the word Socratic. That means I do not hesitate to ask a question from you because I feel very close to you. But I'm not still understanding as well as I should. Okay. And I gave you the example, Socratic is question answer model. It's a whole methodology of teaching. Socratic method of teaching is very used very much for people with special needs. But it's also it is not very practical because when you have 70 students, when you have 60 students, you can't be sitting with one-on-one. But in the ancient times or in the classical times or Greek times, Socrates was a very well-known philosopher, an educationist. After Plato, Socrates and Aristotle. These three people are the main, the forefathers of education. And I gave you the example of Socratic method. Maybe some of you may not be in the main, may have missed the webinar. And I said the best example of Socratic method is the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna is asking a question and Krishna is responding to it one-on-one. An entire Veda, our Vedantas are completely set up on this model. Ask a question and so question is asked also by the author and then responded to it. Okay. Now, if you're moderate in both sides, which I guess is probably the minimum level that all of us are at this time, is moderate here and moderate there, I'm competent. Competent means I can manage, I'm a good teacher. Okay. Okay. And if my intellectual rapport is low, and if my interpersonal rapport is low, but I'm very high in intellectual excitement, then I'm an intellectual authority. Let me tell you, I've worked 18 years in IIT, and now many of the people I know this category. I know this category very well. So there are people who are Bhatnagar awardees and this awardees and that awardees, but they have no time for class. They just come in and they say la, 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 and out. And then they say, sir, I have a question. They say, okay, take a time for me. And he never has time. In the US and my son studied in Imperial College London, and he was telling me that the best teacher that they had, the most renowned teacher, was traveling all the time, lecturing other places. He would come in and they would actually schedule a lecture. When he was there were 300 people in the class. He's a computer scientist from there. And this professor would just say amazing things, teach beautifully at that part and out. And then nobody could ask any question, nothing. He has no time for anyone. So that is intellectual authority. And I'm sure you have seen many people. Big difficulty. Remember, I told you that I was there when we started the video recording, lecture recording, course recording facility. I happen to be the person looking after the soft part of it, not the actually the recording and the technical part, but actually working with the faculty and getting everything organized. And I would receive a set of slides which were to be used in the class. And I could see from there, as an education technologist, the students are not really going to connect with this. And I would call, because I would call the person and say, sir, Mr. So-and-so or Dr. So-and-so, do you think we should put a definition here? Do you think your students would know this word? And they'd say, oh, they should know. They are third-year students in electrical engineering. No, I said, I would say, no, please, can you put a definition here? Because some of people may not know. So I know that. So the intellectual authority. And Indu, I'm coming to you, but let me just finish this, right? Then number 7, if you are moderate in intellectual excitement and high in interpersonal rapport, you are a facilitator. That means you're very good. It's a very great role. Anything above 5 and above, I think we are all at least 5. But if you're less than that, then that is okay. Welcome. It's up to you to evaluate yourself. You need to think very carefully in each. If you say my rapport with the students is good, how do you judge that? How many times have you met your students? You may have a different perception of how your students think of you, but you need to go deeper into it. Okay. And then 8 is exemplary lecture, which means you have very high intellectual excitement. You design your PPTs very well. You teach very well. You have good examples. You're very clear. People can understand you, but your interpersonal rapport is moderate. Then you are an exemplary lecturer. And then 9th is complete exemplar. So I will answer, Indu, I'll answer your question, but let me ask first, anyone, any of these 9 tiles is clear or not clear? Are you clear, Indu? Can you respond?
Yes, ma'am, I just wanted to ask one question.
Go.
What is the difference between explanatory lecturer and facilitator? What is the exact difference between it? That is one confusion I'm having.
Okay, between 7 and 8?
Yes.
Okay, in the 7 and 8, it means that you are very close to the students. In 7, the students feel very, very comfortable. They just walk into your office, and anytime, anywhere you're working, they don't, you know, you have given them that kind of assurance that walk in anytime, I'm fine, I'll receive you. And but your teaching is your intellectual excitement. Okay, now I think I need to explain a little bit about intellectual excitement. Means the content that you're teaching, the quality of content, the presentation. We can go back. We can go back to the other graphic where he explains what he means by these things. I'll take it up in a way. But the exemplary lecture is your intellectual this thing. So it's the opposite of the two. In the exemplary facilitator, rapport is high, excitement is medium, but in the exemplary lecture, the excitement is high, the quality of presentation is very high, the quality of the way you deliver your lecture is very high, but your interaction with the students is medium. In order to this, we need to go back here. So what is intellectual excitement? Big thing is the clarity of presentation. In clarity, he's talking about technical expertise, the content expertise. He's talking about the way you organize. Many times, many times, and I've seen that in India all the time. And I mean, when I say this, I'm saying that with a lot of pride, because I wouldn't be in this business if my heart was not there, right? So India is very important for me, and all of us are working only for the transformation of education in India, because we feel everybody's so bright, so intelligent. Little bit of help here and there will make a big difference, and it does make a big difference. So basically, intellectual excitement means how you are presenting your lectures, how presenting your content, the way, the level of expertise in the way you present the content. Now, level of expertise, how does it become clear? I could be teaching a first-year class, and I could be teaching a fourth-year class. I have 2 courses. For example, I'm a professor at your college, and I have 2 courses. One is first year, one is fourth year. All the students of the first year would be able to know how knowledgeable I am, and all the students of the fourth year will also know how knowledgeable I am. So that is something, content expertise is within you, okay? But many of the people have the content expertise but don't organize it well. They're in it on a tangent of their own. So packaging when we talk about next module, you will see the two important things are selection of content. In the next module, we'll learn how to design your classes, how to design your course content. So packaging is very important. The way you want, not everything needs to be known to the students. It's like, I give this example always. So if you have, you come home, you have a 10-year-old, 7-year-old child, your child comes from school, and you're at home as mom, and you say, okay, do you want for breakfast dosa, omelette, toast, French toast, porridge? What do you want? So the child is confused, right? Not everything is required. So you can say, okay, today I made dosa for you. Oh, wow, very excited. Good, fine, serves the purpose. So organization is very important. Selection, the way you present the, very many professors are guilty of overloading their lectures. Excuse me. Overloading their lectures. So we say overflow of information is very dangerous too. Clarity of communication is something many of us need to work. Your second instrument that I'm going to give you in the next week that you have to do, your next assignment, you will work on that. And communication is an important part of it. Okay, so does that make sense now? Indu, do you get that difference?
Yes, ma'am. It's clear now. Thank you so much.
Okay. And you see how this all makes sense, right? This all makes a lot of sense. So any other questions?
No, it's clear now.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of here and show you a rubric. Have you show the rubric for this? Okay, let me just get out of this place and share my screen later on with this one. Okay, here is the, can you see the screen?
Yes, madam.
Okay, okay. So here it is. In another brief para, describe the key takeaway of all this is there. So you will read that article, which is there. The key takeaway for the reading analysis of 2D model discussion in the area. Plan the work on improve your teaching effectiveness, reflect carefully on your existing style. So you have to pick one of the 9 tiles that are there, and don't start explaining what it is. You know, you can say, okay, at the moment I am at this place, and this is I'm a competent, or I'm a facilitator, exemplar facilitator, or I'm an exemplar lecturer, or whoever I am, you know, whatever where you are, or I'm even, let's say, Socratic or inadequate, whatever, it doesn't matter. Nobody's judging you. And please don't worry that you force yourself to say, nobody in the college is judging you. You are judging yourself. So your assistant faculty is only going to evaluate you the way you have judged yourself. What is the judgment is none of the business of the assistant faculty. The assistant faculty is not going to say, oh, are you inadequate? How come? You have 5 years of teaching experience. Nobody's going to say that. No, it's up to you. It's your evaluation. This entire program is working from inside out. So you need to start working on yourself. And the only way to growth, I know, and from my so many years, I'm so old, so I've been in the business of teaching for 37 years now. I know no transformation can happen. Even in a 5-year-old kid, you cannot transform anything unless the kid wants to transform. Okay, you can keep saying, improve your handwriting, he's not going to improve his handwriting. He's only going to improve his handwriting if he wants to improve his handwriting. So the effort is here to make them want to do things. So we are hoping, I'm hoping that you would want to do that. And that is the way I have designed this program. Okay, let's look at the rubric. Okay, always my recommendation, and that is what Roland was saying, the faculty is going to evaluate you on basis of what the rubric says. Okay, key takeaways from the article. The author lists key takeaways in a well-reflected logical arguments that project the author's commitment to improving his or her teaching style. And you have the descriptors for everything, right? You can see I've taken a lot of time to develop these rubric. This rubric is what is called an analytical rubric. Analytical rubric has fixed criteria. So here the criteria is, have you covered the key takeaways? What is the identification of your category? Here, category, then the title is identified clearly. We don't need any story. You can just say my category at this time is style 7, and it's an exemplar facilitator. Okay, and then if you want to you can justify why it is, and you can say I do this for my preparing my lectures, and this is the kind of repo I have with my students. And this, what is happening here? What is this assignment doing? This assignment is bringing out, because you thought about it, because you reflected on it, it subtly telling you where you want to improve, where you need to improve. Do you need to improve your relationship with the students, or you need to improve your presentation, or the way you lecture, the way you prepare so way you lecture also has two things. There is what you're saying and how you're saying. So we are talking about what you're saying here, okay? And also includes the how, because if you don't organize and you're not explain things well, you're not very clear in your arrangement or organization, then people cannot hear. A justification of evaluation with logical explanation or evidence. Like you can say, I have an office hour, and typically I have 5 to 7 people coming to see me every week, or 10 every other day if you have 2 office hours. Some kind of evidence, some justification. And quality of composition is always 2 points. We try to keep, because I find that all scientists, not you, I find even the students, nowhere along the line of your learning, the emphasis on clarity has been given. People think, "Arey, kuch keh denge." No. The way you write, the way you compose your arguments, very important. Writing and thinking are paired together. So poor writing tells me that you are a poor thinker. Immediately. It doesn't tell me that you have not writing capabilities, but you don't even have adequate thinking capabilities. So I don't want you to do that. If you have spent the time, if you have reflected on the issue, your writing becomes very clear. So clarity of writing and clarity of thinking, they're connected. So the quotation is that the thinking gets clarified when we write. Right? When we have, supposing there's a wedding in the family, and you're making, you're arranging the dinner for the barat, for example. What will you do? You'll sit down with a paper, pen, and pencil and start writing. Ye karna hai, wo karna hai. You make a list of all the tasks that have done. This has to be ordered. I have to call this one. I have to. What is happening? Your thinking is becoming clarified because you're writing, right? And writing makes the thinking clear. So when you write and you say, oh, I did not put down that, I need to put down that. So there is a very close relationship between writing and thinking. And we want you to start thinking very well about how you compose anything. How do you compose the comments? How do you compose your PPTs? How do you write the comments? How do you write your papers? It's a part of professional growth and personal growth. So you will see, I may not be able to explain. I try to point it out all the time, but then, as I said, the motive is professional growth and personal growth as a professional. 2 streams are going parallel. Any questions about the assignment, the rubric. So the recommendation, as Roland was making, is that in both cases, in in the discussion you have seen is a grading scheme, which is called the holistic rubric, and this is what is called a analytical rubric. In the analytical rubric, the criteria is the same. Everybody has to use the same criteria. In other kind of grading, it's all personal. I can say 2 lines, I can say 4 lines, I can explain, I can do it very well, or I can, you know, pick the right answer. I may not, whatever. It's very personal. There is no fixed criteria. In discussion is conversation. It has no fixed criteria. But assignments will always have an analytical rubric for you. Okay. Now I want to take some questions. Let's see. Any hands? Jay Upadhyay. Jay, can you unmute? No. Ramamurthy, are you clear now of everything?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Any questions? Now you know how to handle the discussion and how to handle the assignment, right?
Yes, yes. For discussion, we have to go through the discussion links and video and other things. And
I'll look at it. I'll show you now. I am in Canvas, so I can come look at that. Okay, Beena, let me first talk about the assignment right now. Beena, yes, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. How to submit the assignment? Either
Okay,
in doc format, or we have to just write the reply.
Sorry, say it again.
After preparing the assignment, how we have to submit that in Canvas?
In
Because
Canvas,
we are not familiar with the Canvas.
Oh, you're not. Okay, so so we may have to okay. What I will do is I will ask Sridhar to create a note and put it in the so in the assignment folder you will be able to see now this is an assignment, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, so once you have prepared the assignment, you have, for example, let me go. That is how we will see your assignment.
Madam.
Yeah.
If you allow me to show my screen, I can show that how to submit.
Yes, please. I'm okay. I'm going to stop sharing.
You're in control, madam.
Okay, I'm closing. Okay, Ramamurthy, please. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Ma'am, in meantime, can I ask one query?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am, in assignment, there is a second question that as per the analysis of the 2D model, I would plan to work on following areas to improve effectiveness in teaching. So are we supposed to just list down the areas, or we are supposed to elaborate the same?
Yeah, because there is if you look at the next criteria, which is justification, which means why did you choose this style? So supposing you say I am at this time I am level 5 competent, right? So for example, you say you're competent, and then you have to say why you think you're competent.
Madam.
Yes,
Yeah,
okay. Ma'am, question number 1. Sorry. Discuss the areas that you plan to work on.
Yeah.
Second part of question number 1.
So second part of question mean key. We'll look at it. Let's finish.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Madam.
Can I go ahead? Yes, go ahead, please.
Madam, here TLP assignment one. If we click the link, we'll get like this. Since I have already attempted, I'm getting new attempt. Otherwise, you'll be getting a link like this. Submit your assignment here.
Okay, sir.
If I click on that, you'll be able to see here. If you can choose a file to upload the document, or it will show you a text box to submit. Here text entry is there, madam. There are two links here, file upload, in which you can choose the document and you can upload, or text entry. Whatever the thing that you want to submit, you can paste here, you can copy and paste here, and you can submit here. This is the way to submit assignment.
Okay, thank you, sir.
This is
Thank you,
regarding.
Ramamurthy. Thank you.
There
Thank
will
you
be.
so much. Yeah, thank
Hello?
you so much. Yeah.
Okay, madam.
Okay,
Hello,
Hindu.
sir. Hello, sir.
Tell me, madam.
Sir, how can I submit my discussion?
Oh, discussion is there. Very easy. Let's go to the discussion, Ramamurthy. Discussion has got a link there, right there. Just
Yes,
click there and okay.
Just a moment, madam. I'll be showing
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Just open there. Yeah.
You have to cancel there. Somewhere there is cancel because you come to pre-submission.
Please
It is
go
all-
to home.
Yeah, you can just go back here. Go to the arrow here. And go back here.
Yes, madam. Here discussions is there. PLP discussion.
Yeah.
In this discussion, here you can scroll down. You'll be
Right
able
here.
to-
Yeah.
you'll be
Reply.
able to-
Yeah, here. Reply. It says here reply. Bina, here reply. Just click on it and then start typing.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Okay, madam. Okay.
And as I mentioned that when you open this, you will see nothing. You can't see anything. And because the way the discussions are created, you have to post your comment and then only everything you can see everybody else's.
Okay,
The
madam. Thank
idea
you.
is that you don't get influenced by what others have said. Otherwise,
Yes,
if
ma'am.
discussion-
Now I got it.
Yeah, if the discussion is open, then everybody will first read what Ramamurthy has said, what Indu has said, what Bina has said, what Veena has said, and then I will make my own. No, you first post your thing,
Yes,
and
madam.
then you understand. Okay. And discussion you can
Okay.
post as many times. You can change your thought. You can say, now that I'm reading all these people's comments, I realize that I had the wrong idea. It doesn't matter. It's your own post. Okay, thank you so much, Ramamurthy. You're so Indu, you have a hand up again.
Welcome, madam.
Indu, do you have a question?
Yeah, ma'am, in question number 1, part 2.
Where?
Yes,
In
ma'am, I
assignment?
have a question. In
In
the
assignment?
assignment, it needs to be a paragraph to be written, not in a columnar form, right?
Whichever way you want. Yeah, yes, write a paragraph. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Sanjay Kumar. Hi, Sanjay.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
I have a doubt regarding that rapport with the students. You have basically in that model there are 3 categories depending upon the rapport which the faculty has with the students. You can have either high, medium, or low. I need a little bit clarification on this, ma'am. Say, for example, if a faculty doesn't have any time to interact with the students, even he is intellectually strong, then he comes under the category of low.
No. I said the two dimensions are totally different. They are both related to teaching effectiveness, but in between the two there is no relationship. There are two different wings.
Yeah. If he's not able to interact with the students, either if he's not having any time to clarify.
Yeah, but let me give you an example. If you don't even recognize your students and who your students are in class.
Okay.
There are people like that. I know faculty. People come in and they say, "Yes, what do you want? Or how can I help you?" And he says, "Sir, I am from this class." He shouldn't have to say that, particularly if you have been in week 3 or week 4 of the class. I can understand the first day or second day of class that you don't understand. But if you don't even recognize your students, it's a very sad story.
Okay. So regarding the rapport, with what kind of interactions does the faculty need to have in order to
For the quality of, yeah, both the quantity and the quality of interaction. The student may not, it's so Sanjay, it's again two-dimensional. One is the actual time that I give to my students or my availability. Now, let's see, we are only we have over 100 and we have nearly 200 students, participants listed in this class. We will know in a week or so how many are the final list. Let's say 150 to hai, 170 are definitely there. Now, even if we have only 36 of you here, right? But if I'm able to generate that feeling in others that I don't need to go to the office hour because I don't have a question, but I know anytime I can ask Veena ma'am or I can ask Roland or any of the faculty, and Veena ma'am will always be there to respond to me. That feeling, if you have been able to generate in the students. So availability, there is a physical availability of time and there is a availability of spirit, Sanjay.
Okay. Okay.
You understand?
So faculty need not know about the personal things which students.
No. I don't need to know the student personally. In the sense how many brothers he has and how many sisters, whose son he is or whose daughter he is, how does he come to college, what background and all. No, you don't need to know that. You only need to have that repo. Repo means what? A connection. Repo, the actual translation of the word repo, Sanjay, is connection. If you have a connection, and though that connection can't even be described on paper, it is to be felt. So you need to generate that atmosphere in your class.
Okay.
Got it?
Yeah, absolutely, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? So it's time now. We need to stop because I hope you guys have had dinner. Thank you so much for your time. I love these sessions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Everyone, you feel good? Any other muddiest? Sorry?
It was a wonderful session, ma'am.
Thank you, Abhijit. Thank you. You're welcome. Anytime, any questions you have, and let me assure again that your assistant faculty is always very, very warm and very nice. It's a very big privilege to be an assistant faculty. So they're chosen with a lot of care. So wonderful. Thank you so much and have a wonderful evening. Enjoy. If you have any questions, still put them. So the questions are in the thread is for questions for this module. So how do I do that? All these questions you could have put there. Yeah. Beena, do you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. How can we get know that from in which group we are there?
Better go to people. Go to Canvas.
Okay, in people. Okay. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, madam.
Have a wonderful evening.
Bye, madam.
Thank you so much.
Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night. Good night, Ishan.
Good night.
Bye, ma'am.
Good night. Good night, Ashwini. Good night. Roland, thank you so much.
Good night, ma'am.
Thank you, Padmavati.
Good night, ma'am.
Good night, Amit. Good night, Amit.
Good night, ma'am. Okay.
Good night. Tushar.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Everybody.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
See you.
Take
Yeah,
care.
take care. Bye-bye.
See you soon. Yes.
Bye.